Welcome to the Tokotas podcast on September 12th, 2020. Yes, it is still 2020. God help us all. This is Jill, and I'm here with a couple other admins, and we're going to talk to you all today about some TCA, Taming, and Outpost scheduling changes. We're going to talk about DC and what's going on there. We will, of course, talk about World Tour in many different ways, and then, as always, we will have questions and answers towards the end. You'll know my voice by now if you've listened to us ever before. And of course, there's Dunn.
Hey everybody, maybe you can hear me this time.
Doubtful. And then we have our DC manager, Crae, on with us today as well.
Hello.
And we have Lach, who used to be one of the head admins, and is back around helping out in breeding and doing various amounts of art that Jill needs done. Say hi, Lach.
Hi, Lach.
I knew that was coming. As soon as I said the words, I knew that was coming.
You're welcome. I'm here to entertain.
As always, we have lots of fun sneak peeks sitting around waiting to go. But first things first, we are going to talk about DC. So as it's been brought up many times before in the last 2 years, there's been a little bit of a DC drought. And part of that has been the overwhelming of DC that's been going on in the last 2 years when we had to actually cut the number of designs down. And I think, Crae, you can speak a little bit to that about how DC was just slammed monthly.
Yes, very much. I think with the newest round of hires, we kind of have a lot of people able to look at designs and really wanting to look at designs every week. And that's why we've been able to go back to 7/8 designs a month, which has been pretty awesome.
Yeah, it's been amazing to get back up to that. I didn't think we'd get back there with the influx of players that was going on. But the latest group seems to still be motivated. And as always, whenever there's new admin hires, that department goes faster than usual. And it'll settle back into its actual pace in a couple months. And I think we're starting to get to that point where people are settling at this point. They've been around a little while. So there's been a DC drought. And part of that was just the amount of time, the amount of people. And I don't know if we've said it before, but DC is the hardest role to train anybody for. Because art judging is hard, and then art judging designs is a step above that. So, the DC drought is there. So we know that, and part of World Tour is kind of catching up on that drought. So in the next couple months, there's going to be lots of fun new DC things that are coming out in the form of new physical traits, new markings, a new mutation, is that right? And
Yep.
A couple new color modifiers as well. Crae, why don't you tell us a little about, because you and I have talked quite a bit about what's coming, when it's going to drop, all the things they're doing, but you're the one who's actually doing the guides, getting the swatches put together, doing the hard work to get that done. So why don't you tell us a little about what's coming in the next couple months and maybe what your favorite's coming. And you can be as vague or as not vague as you want, because I'm all about them spoilers.
Goodness gracious.
Ooh, okay. Yeah, we have a little bit of a team put together to work on some new markings and a new mutation. I think there's just one for now. We are doing some things that people have asked for a while that kind of just make sense, like maybe some restricted cream. And then some things that people probably never asked for, or if they did, they're maybe a little crazy, like some green and pink Tokotas.
I blame Dunn.
Yes. So we have Lilac as one of our kind of like a color modifier that's different in a way than cream and dun. And we're just kind of expanding a little bit, maybe having these green and pinkish swatches as a similar lilac-ish interaction with other markings.
Mm-hmm. Go ahead.
Let's see. We have a couple other, more standard markings coming through. I don't know how much I want to give away on those, but
Let me see. Let me check which ones are coming. Maybe we'll talk about one of them. Stop trying to
Okay.
remind me. I'm not putting these accounts together. So for my DC, I can see my res creams on the map.
Mutation is early.
Mutation's coming pretty early. We're not talk about that. We're not gonna talk about that. Oh, this will be a hit. Do you recall that another marking is getting an extension sometime soon here?
I think I know what you mean. Do you mean my favorite marking ever?
I think
Yeah.
I'm talking about your favorite marking ever is going to be getting an extension. So big update to that. I don't know. We could tell them what it is, or we could make them guess.
It's a dark marking. You know, that's. I kind of want to make people guess.
I kind of
But
feel
Crae, extended marked already exists.
Yeah, it's the other dark marking.
It is the other dark.
Other dark marking. Did you mean done?
No.
No. No. Hello, Sable. No, it's not Sable. No, it's a black marking.
Mm-hmm.
Yes,
But
marked,
anyways.
marked.
Yes.
The entire Toko is just marked.
Just marked. So basically, it's black. Just black Toko.
Next
Magic
mark.
of Lilac to
Dakota.
Cream.
Yep.
Oh, okay. Nah. Alright, so I'm looking at this right here. And the progression of DC things to come in the next couple months as we make up for this little drought. What I'm seeing here is we've had the update points, so we now have creeping points. And I don't know if anybody else noticed. We said it, but I don't know if everybody noticed. There are 4 new point swatches.
Mhm.
We have a cooler version of black points. So we have a warm swatch and a cool swatch. We have a new flame swatch for liver points, which have more of a red hue. We have a golden swatch for tan points, so you can pull a little more of that yellow. And then we have a purple lilac point swatch. And if everything holds true, then there is a good chance that there are some more color points coming down the line here to match some of the crazier things going on. So our first couple months are going to be colorful. Let's just say very colorful.
Actually, yeah, we did load the front of this with lots of color.
Right? So,
Yep, it's been crazy in here.
exactly.
Thank you for putting up with us, Crae. We love you.
Oh yeah, poor Craig. I sat down and I was like, this is what we're doing. Pick the things. You have to pick so many of the things, but you can decide which disasters you want to work on.
Oh my god, it's true. But I'm really happy with the extension of the point swatches.
Oh
Like,
my god, yeah.
there's so many times when you're like designing especially liver point Dakota, and it's just like it doesn't work well with the base, and you're like,
Mm-hmm.
if only this was a little bit more like reddish or a little more golden. So yeah, I'm really glad we're able to expand those, and each of the new point colors that are coming out also have 2 swatches, so there's a wide range available.
Yes, there is. Dunn is...
You want up or down?
Get me both. Dunn is getting me a sneak peek right now because we realized we have one of our new physical traits that's totally almost ready to go, so we could do that. So we're talking about there's going to be lots of color coming. There's going to be some extensions added to some dark markings that we're all fond of. We have a mutation, and you guys have already technically seen this mutation. I just don't know if you've noticed it yet because it just says Tundra at the moment. We have some new markings along the lines, things people have been asking for. My understanding, and Crae, you correct me if I'm wrong, I'm looking at these 4 new markings that we're going to be adding in the next, months, because we're only going to do so much a month. I don't think any of these are particularly rare markings, though.
No, I don't think that they are. I think the mutation is probably the biggest thing that we're doing as far as like rarity.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of these are just kind of like filling in some holes or just some extra little ideas that people have had on the side. I'm thinking a lot of them are going to be uncommon, or
Mhm.
maybe rare on some of them, but not very rare.
Yeah, I'm thinking some of these could even fall as small as common. So these are all going to be on the low end, which means we're going to have pretty easy pass rates on them. So we've got some, which is a good thing. And I love when we come out with new stuff, but it always sucks when everything that we come out with is super rare and hard to get. So we have some new uncommon, maybe common. Don't quote us, we're working on that, coming through. We have more physical traits coming through. I think we have 4 physical traits coming. Yeah, we do. A mutation. And then Dunn is getting me an awesome little sneak peek right now for that. But for everybody else who's sitting around
For a physical trait, not a mutation, to clarify.
For a physical trait, not a mutation. They've already seen the mutation. They just haven't realized it yet.
They're all going to go on a hunt, you know.
They are. But this is popping for us real soon. Something else we're going to talk about in a moment, and I'm going to drop this so that you can see it. Oop, hold on. I know what that sound means. That sound means it's time for a sneak peek as soon as I can download it. Dun, dun, dun.
Ooh.
Ooh, I love these.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Right? I was like, hold on. We have that. That's done. I can actually just
This
show
is a
that.
good one.
So, image. I'm almost getting good at this podcasting thing where you have things in place. We never have everything in place. We're not professionals. Oh, there we go. Good thing I intended to just show it right away. So, we have a new physical trait coming down the line pretty soon here. Yeah. We got some claws coming. And,
Pointy.
super pointy. And the cool part about these is we've talked to DC, and I believe Crae has said there's a little bit of a mix and match allowed here. You can have one or the other or both. All of that is legal when you have the claws mutation going on. So some cool extended dew claws.
Not mutation, physical trait.
It's a physical trait. Listen to Dunn. It's a physical trait. It's not a mutation.
We know what we're talking about, maybe.
Mutations do not change line art.
They do not, yet.
No, they don't. If we want to change line art, physical trait.
Stay with me, Crae.
Oh god, please no.
Yeah, see? So we have these coming down the line, and in talking about those, I'm also going to show off. So we've teasered this previously. I think everybody's figured out there's some new mains at work. Possibly more than one. And one of those is our rough coat, which I'm going to go ahead and tell everybody right now is not going to be a rare main. You are looking at a new main that's coming out in the vein of half and short. In that area, it'll probably still be rarer than half mains are, because half mains are still more common than short mains, even though short mains are technically just an uncommon main. But this will be falling into that vein, which means it's not going to be Barbary levels of hard to get your hands on, and it will be unlocking here sometime in the next month. How soon and how many go out will be up to World Tour participants and how well they work. And Crae, do you want to talk about the color of this and that new project that we've started up on to get more colors? Go for it.
So we have in the past had a bunch of special base coats, some of which are from starters and wilds, and some of which are just kind of member-owned Tokotas, whether it was on purpose or accidental. Also, sorry about dog barks. And we kind of wanted to make it more of a standardized process, I guess, where we have starters for each of the wild ones, like wild special base coats, and then some that are player owned and have approved that we make a starter with that special base coat. So this means that they'll be, I believe they'll be available in lineages, maybe?
Yeah,
Is
they're
that
going to be
true?
available pretty quick here, and they're going to be available for starter slot purchase pretty quick as well.
Yep. So we'll have the ability to have these base codes as like actual group standards, and all of these new starters are going to also be pretty easy to color pick from. No crazy gradients or anything. So basically, it's just making it all easier on everybody.
Exactly. And these will not be changing names just because we're putting a starter out for. I know we have Epona, we have Melisandre, Mawbone. I think is this Mawbone?
This might be Mawbone.
I think this is Mawbone.
Or Epona, one of the two.
I know Keeper of Souls has been agreed to. Melanthios has been agreed to.
Merwin, John, Cnad, and Oogie Boogie Brown?
Yes, all of those people have agreed to this particular process. So what's going to happen is we'll make a starter. They don't get a slot to it, nothing like that. Their Tokota will be on the last line of this starter. So every time you breed it, their Tokota will fall off. But you will be able to color pick those colors and use them. This means we can start using them for design contests. Previously, we couldn't do that. They're player-owned Tokotas. We can't put them in a lineage. And people have done it before. We've had to deny so many entries into into wild design contests or this or that. And someone's like, but I'm just putting this Toko as the father so that I can have the color. And we're like, yeah, but we don't own that Toko. A player does. So this will allow us to do that. And we have a whole bunch of them coming, which means all of the designs in the Tokoween contest that we're doing this will now be legal. And we will not have to toss them out. Everything will be pretty good in that respect. DC is looking over the designs right now. And then hopefully by October, they'll all be up and into the pool so that we can start getting those colors around to everybody. And as Dunn just listed off, I think we have like 8 colors coming. We are not reaching out to people. We did a sweep of admins. You know what? I'll just say it. Shining Star of Winter brought it to us first. What are you doing?
Oh, no, we actually do need that.
Yeah.
Your Discord notifications are going off.
Oh. Sorry. So, Shining Star of Winter owned 3 of these. She brought it to me that she would be more than willing to find a way to get these colors so that everybody could have them because she adores color. I talked to her about it. This plan came up. And after the first 3 were done, a whole bunch more admins showed up and were like, well, I don't mind having mine. I don't mind having mine. I don't mind having mine. So, now we have 8. If somebody comes to us and they ask, and as long as the color is named on a design guide, yes, that's cool. And we will not be changing the names. This is still going to be Mawbone Brown. We're not going to suddenly make it named after whatever the starter is. The whole Jasper Amber transition was a slightly complicated mess where an actual starter, not a fake starter, but an actual starter, ended up in player hands because of a previous agreement that a previous owner of the group had with another previous owner of the group, which then meant that we suddenly had a starter that wasn't a starter, and people were trying to color pick and get it in lineages, and it wasn't working. So Amber got designed. That's not the case here. This is just people being like, I'm okay with people having my colors. So that's what these will be. They'll be out in October. All right. Awesome. So that's our fun DC that's coming up. And you can see we have this lovely rough mane coming out sometime soon. And if you like scruffy dogs, then you will definitely want to get your hands on this one, because it might be the prerequisite to getting an even scruffier mane later.
You're so subtle.
I'm not subtle.
So subtle.
Opposite of subtle.
Honestly, I'm surprised you didn't have a picture of the other one, too.
I wanted to, but I thought Dunn would kill me.
I would.
Right? So, there we go.
Gotta save something for later.
Exactly.
I behaved myself. There was one I looked at Dunn and went, I'm going to try, 5 minutes before we start this podcast, to be like, we should have a sneak peek of that. But I'm telling you right now, I don't actually want that. I'm just going to get excited and want it in the moment, but we need to hold that piece back. And she was like, yeah, okay, I'm not going to let you. And I'm like, thank God.
Good thing I do the graphics.
Thank God she does the graphics and not me. Okay, so And then...
Oh, we have an Islua in the chat.
Oh, awesome.
Okay, I have an update.
Yes?
Real quick. Let me just have you read it real quick. Because once we have Kass join us, we can just handle...
Mm-hmm. Oops, okay, so we were scheduled to have Kaj or Cover on with us today as well to talk about Outpost things. I will go ahead and do that for her because she got swept into babysitting.
Yep.
Oops. And I can see Kass is on her way to join us right now.
So we'll hold off on that part of it.
No, yeah, we'll hold off on that part, so I'm just going to talk about Outpost. I've seen this run around in the chat a few times. People are going, when are the rare main Tokotas going to drop in World Tour? They're not. It's not going to happen.
Wah, wah.
Yeah, I know how badly you all want your hands on things like this, because it's gorgeous, and I want it too, but it's not in World Tour, guys. You know those,
Oh my god!
right? Those crazy Outpost goals that are sitting there, like the one right now is do 100 bondings? Your short main Dakota is behind that goal. Go do bonding to get your short main Dakota so you can have the next goal.
This isn't the short main Dakota.
No, this is not the short main Dakota.
This is quite the opposite of the short main.
Just
Totally
to clarify.
It looks pretty short of a main.
Yeah, I mean, look at that.
Yeah, it's not the opposite of it in any way, shape, or form. So,
Gosh.
yes, those rare main Dakotas are there. They are hiding behind those group goals. And I already have lines for rough main Dakotas. I got those done at the same time I did everything else. So if you guys unlock short, I can justify just letting rough go out into the wild right away.
Oh my god, you are absurd.
Why put it behind another goal if all the other uncommons are out?
You're not wrong.
There's so many mains.
Exactly. Make it easy, make it simple, and it's great. So, but I need you guys to finish bonding, because if you still don't have short main out there, I can't justify giving you rough main, and then I have to have it put behind a goal for you to get later. Nobody wants that. Nobody does.
Nobody does.
Exactly. So, to answer that question that I've seen floating around, rare main Dakotas, I have all of the line art done. It's been done. I want to give it to you. Go do Outpost goals. It's all there. Mutations for Dakotas, Outpost goals. Yeah, it's there too.
Oh, to clarify,
Mhm.
just because short main is 100 bondings doesn't mean that, like, Yetis are going to be do 1,000 RODs. We're well aware of how many people are out there and how many Tokos and, you know, the feasibility of goals. Bonding doesn't have any prereqs. RODs have prereqs where you have to have the HP. POTAs have stupid prereqs.
Exactly.
So it's not going to get insane.
No, there might be a sliding up scale, but the scale is not going to be exponentially big in any way, shape, or form.
Mhm.
It probably a linear curve at anything, but we are taking into account prerequisites. Anyone can bond. Any Toko. It's not just Dakotas anymore.
Mhm.
So asking for 100 sets of rights to be done among our, what was it I checked last time, like 545 active a week players right now, according to our website data, is not unrealistic. I'm asking everyone to bond 2 Tokos.
Mhm.
And there's no deadline. But the longer we go...
And-
Oh, go ahead.
And I do just want to point out, if you are the TCA Taming rank 5, you only have to do 2 bonding
I just need
things
to win a
for
CE. Ugh.
Or you could help me do that image so that I could just have 2.
I'm not deliberately holding you back, Jill.
She's deliberately holding me back.
I am not.
I got everything else done. I just have to do the one image, and I collab things with Dun, and Dun won't do the lines.
You don't tell me to do that.
I told you to do the lines so many times. I even then asked you to do the lines.
Well, then after the podcast, remind me while we go watch Dora the Explorer, the movie.
Alright, I will. It's not gonna get done. She's slightly jelly she didn't buy a TCA rank up, and I did, and I've been sitting on it for years. And so the moment this image goes in, I'm rank 5.
Well, you know what? I did it the hard way. The right way.
That's fine, you do
Oh
it
my
the
God.
hard way. I work smarter, not harder. Well, did we get a cast joining
I
us?
love this.
No, not yet.
Okay. So, also, you guys should do your TCA because it's much simpler than I thought it was going to be.
October is the best month to do your TCA rank ups with all the wilds that are out. Just you can rip through it. That's when I did the bulk of mine, honestly.
Yeah, and just do the auto fails. Don't run after a Toko
That you don't want.
It's not fun for the person who, because there will be someone there who wants this so bad. But just do your auto fails. It's not a big deal because how much HP did we generate with auto fails for other people?
Oh, I don't even know. We did like 12 or 15 days on a piece on those silkies.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And we were to the other person, enjoy, have all that HP. Great.
Mm-hmm.
And then everyone turned around and said, no problem for us using the HP for the one that Dun tamed instead.
Yep.
So, yeah. So, oh, hey, there she is. We have a Kass.
Hi. I just woke up.
Oh, Kass.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Kass.
Crae!
Hey. So we tweaked our schedule a little bit so you could join us. We've talked about the DC at this point and all the fun things that are coming, and I have explained to everyone that their rare mana quotas are in the Outpost, and they should go and do that. Do you want to talk about the new schedule that's been put together for Outpost, TCA, and Taming? So we're going to announce it to people in general with the news, but do you want to talk about it and the decision to come to it here?
Sure. I might blank though.
That's all right. I'm here to help.
I can't remember like the specific months because I have to write that down and I can't go do it because my mom is sleeping. But we basically have them all on a schedule so we don't overwhelm anybody and so that we have plenty of time to get designs done and get designs judged and make sure that they have the proper amount of time for people to get into them without being overwhelmed by other things.
Mm-hmm. Yes, so a common problem that we saw was Outpost, TCA, and Taming can have similar requirements to them. Yes, Taming is usually more images than everything else, but TCA, Taming, and Outpost, if it all hit on the same month, people were crazy overwhelmed by this, which we didn't like. So Cash, or Co, and Kass sat down and came up with a schedule, which I think Dun has found.
I'm pretty sure this is accurate still. So
I think so.
Wilds will pop January, April, July, and October. October obviously being Tokoween. February, May, August, and November, you'll see TCA Tokos. And then Outpost will be getting March, June, and September, skipping December when it's closed because we have the Advent running and everything.
Exactly. So this is the new schedule. We will put this up for people to see. And the idea is you will know when taming Tokos are coming. You can plan for it, that there will be Tokos to tame 4 months out of the year. And then there might be other instances. I believe we agreed on this too, Kass, correct me if I'm wrong. We agreed that there could be instances where there might be a Valentine's Wild that goes out. The taming admin will just talk to the admin in charge of that month and okay it with them in advance. Mm-hmm. So there might still be little surprises that pop up throughout the year where we might get a 4th of July this or a, Valentine's that.
I think contests will also still kind of sit outside that schedule. You'll have like the static wild design contests happen during months where wilds aren't available to tame.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And the prep work for that. We have been trying it for the last 3 months, low-key, and I feel like it's worked really well. Mm-hmm. How about you, Kass?
Yeah, it's doing good. I like it. Mm-hmm. I like the time to get everything all, approved.
Yeah. Well, I don't know
and
if
having actual deadlines helps.
I don't know if anybody else knows this, because Dun and I went and did the math at one point. Earlier this year, there was a couple complaints about just, taming. And we were like, taming is great. We don't know what you're talking about. Like, well, there's not enough taming going on. And then we went back through the last year and discovered about 50? Was it 50? Or was it like 55?
I don't even remember, but it was like there was a solid, like from September till February, Kass was rolling tamings like every day.
And Tokoween had 26 Tokos in it. Mm-hmm. And we went, Oh, yeah, I guess there's been like 2 months of no taming, but in the last 8 months there has been like 50 wilds. So we thought getting it a little more on schedule, it stops burnout and it helps with all of that. So.
Yeah, it helps a lot. Having to roll every day, it gets so burnout. But there's like not enough for me to like have somebody else be doing it too.
Yeah, Tokoween is the only time where you can really say that there's going to be possibly a need for 2 or 3 people to help out, and that's only once a year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's why other admins just pinch it at that time.
Yeah, usually I have somebody doing something if I'm going to go for it, and I'll pick something that I'm going to go for so that I have a break too.
Yeah. That's true. You tend to pick in advance, I'm going after this one, and have someone set up to do the rolls for that one instead. Mm-hmm. So
yes,
that's how it goes.
Last time Bork was a nice helper.
Oh, that's right. He was. He's really good about showing up to do those things. Mm-hmm. So there'll be the new schedule. We are in September, which is Outpost month.
Yep.
So I believe Outpost Genos went out, or are going to go out pretty soon.
Nope, I think Kass put them out this week, a little earlier this week.
Oh yeah, you know what? You're right. She did. I remember that.
Co.
Gets me still too. So Co put out some a little earlier this week. They had, I want to say, traits on them this time round.
I think she put some non-physical traits. Let me go pull them up, actually. Mm-hmm. That was the news, not the Outpost. No, that was the right journal.
Oh, done. Oh, sweet done.
I have like 3 screens rolling here.
She is. She's watching all of the things. And what did new?
Very observant.
Oh, looks like we have a halfie out right now.
Nice.
We have Fisher. Mm-hmm. Ooh, collared cream with dapples. Cute little graying brown hunter. Ooh, liver point half main. I might have to go for Outpost stuff right now.
Right. So Outpost has been expanding what they were putting in there. I don't know if other people noticed, but, and this is not on Co because Co's hands were completely tied. Basically, when Outpost got made, someone who's no longer on the admin team, who was in charge of basically Tokotas, declared there's going to be this Outpost. They made the idea up 5 minutes before they disappeared for 3 months and didn't give us a plan. Poor Co ended up being the one who was given it and told to make it work without a plan. She did the best she could with her hands tied with the rules that were set down. Well, yeah, in the last, I want to say 3 months. No, Lach, it was not you.
It was definitely me.
Oh wait, why did that auto-correct?
Oh yeah, that's right. Shh, I wasn't gonna throw you under the bus, man. But I was talking about somebody else who set down the arbitrary rules for Tokotas.
I didn't know what I was doing.
Oh my
That's
god,
okay.
Jill.
So,
you threw Lach under the bus so hard.
I was trying to throw not Lach under the bus, but by not saying who the previous owner was that messed with all of this. It wasn't Lach I was talking about.
It was, we were all set up for failure.
Oh yeah, no, you guys were. The summer event, you guys got so set up for failure. Came in, made declarations of exactly this is what we're going to do, disappeared for, the next year, popping in to make demands of the exact thing they're trying to figure out how to run without any... Yeah, no, you guys were set up for failure. It's not your fault. I don't hold any resentment about that, and I don't think most people do. We explained to the player base what happened, and everybody... There were a few people who were still a little not happy with how it went, but there was nothing more we could do than apologize at that point. And obviously, lore proved that we heard them and are trying to do something else.
I love Seer.
Oh dear.
Why throw Lach under the bus when you can throw her under a Tokota?
Please do, I'll take it home.
But, so back to the point, Co got her hands untied about 3 months ago when we set the schedule, that she did not have to hold to the markings that currently exist in Tokotas. Mm-hmm. She did not have to hold to putting no physical traits on them, and no mains on them, and no anything on them, that she had power to do more. Mm-hmm. And all she ever had to do was run it by us so we knew what was going on. Mm-hmm. Not even in, full permission mode. Most of the time she comes through and she's like, I am thinking of this. How do people feel about that? And we're like, awesome, have fun. Like, that's cool. I trust you on this. So she's really trying to brighten that up at this point and get us a lot more coming through in Tokotas. And we'll be getting her some new starters to play with pretty soon here, too. Because,
I think we have one boy.
We have 2 now. Cedar exists.
Oh, yes, Cedar does exist.
Cedar exists. He's just not in any starter slots to pull from yet.
Well, none of the Tokotas slots are in the starter slots right now.
That is very true.
Maybe you should fix that.
Yeah, so we should change that.
I feel like we can fix it, but I also feel like I've done a very good job at fixing Tokotas. And I know I shouldn't say fixing, but I fixed them.
Yes.
Yes, you did.
In February, after being out for 2 years, there was 150 Tokotas in the system. By May, we had doubled that number. Availability is not an issue anymore. Well, I mean, you know.
They're natural litter size limitations, but we have things like Spirit Dove that fix that. The Dom ability to roll, too.
Has done that.
Also, Crae's Abandoned Dakota Pups.
Abandoned Dakota Pups have really helped out, and that's gotten lots of markings. Because it's really hard to move markings up to the 50% with Tokotas. It really was. So breeding's done awesome by getting those rolled quickly so that they're good. Getting them into the rules and the tiers and doing that. Activities is moving fast, so they're going out there. And I know everyone was like, are these really common? And I'm like, no, they're not really common, but there's, 300 dangerous game rolled this month. 3 went out. Nah, it's okay. So, things like that. So, yes, you'll be seeing more and more of that. Co is really getting Outpost rolling now, and it's on a good schedule, and it'll stay like that. And all of the other departments are pulling their weight. So, Akota availability is definitely going up. Okay, is there anything else, Cass, you want to add about, I had actually said, never mind. I'm going to ask you if there's anything you want to add, but I'm also going to go back to my schedule. Is there any spoilers you want to give us about Tokoween Wilds that'll be coming out next month? Because I have heard some crazy things are happening.
Oh, I have heard such wonderful crazy things.
She's thinking about it.
I was thinking about it. I was just thinking about what I should say because I don't know what to say.
Cass.
What?
Just say a woo.
A woo?
A woo.
There's definitely some woo coming down the pipeline.
Mizzy says, better get some green boys.
I want to get some green boys.
All
Don't know if we will have green boys for wilds, but we might have some rosy ones coming soon.
That's true.
Oh, for God's sake, family, why? Every time I'm doing a podcast, you guys never talk to me until I'm doing this.
Well, in addition to the design contest, I also asked some admins to do some special babies. And I think everybody's going to really like them.
Yes. Let's just say if you like mutations, Tokoween will be your day.
You are like as subtle as a train wreck.
I'm not subtle as a train wreck. I can't be subtle with these people. If I tell them there's mutations coming, guess what they're going to do? Show up for Tokoween.
Point.
If I go, there might be something special, they're going to go, okay. Yeah. As a train wreck on purpose. Okay, so with that, we are, let me make sure I don't have anything else. Spoilers to show. I'm pretty sure the rest of my spoilers are all... Yep, the rest of my spoilers are all about World Tour. But these are good people to have around for World Tour because they have been involved, whether they wanted to be or not, for the last... I don't know how long.
When did we get the map? January?
January?
Something like that.
I think I bought that map back in January. Okay, so... for the next 30 minutes, I'm going to talk about World Tour. Part of that, Lach, and I, and everyone else here, because lots of them are involved in the process, are going to talk about the faction leaders and our goals behind designing them. But first, I'm going to talk about World Tour, what it is, and a little bit of what to expect as we're going down there. And of course, I have spoilers hidden here that I am dying to show you.
You know, she would just do these podcasts where she just flashes spoiler after spoiler after spoiler for like 20 minutes if we didn't stop her.
Yeah, basically.
Quick, everybody log off.
Okay, so World Tour. Traditionally, Tokotas did not have a significant amount of world canon. Our thought process behind that is you can make your world, you can make your canon, and we're not going to disagree with it. Like, we have no problem with you playing the game you want to play. And you know what? That's still 100% true. We have no problem with your personal canon. We have no problem if your personal canon goes against canon that we have established, air quotes. It's okay. You do you. We're fine with that. But in the recent years, we have had people ask us more and more and more to tell us about the world of Tokotas. And we've had contests about that. Way back in the day, before I was even playing this game, we had the canon location contest. And we've never really done more beyond that until we had the deity design. And we got so much good out of that. We got all those Borga and Milanik and Sivaganik were amazing. They really were. They changed the face of Tokotas as far as lore went. Because yes, we'd had Aga and we'd had Nagi and we'd had Sik, but if you look at their designs versus the Dark Spirits had a lot more personality going to them. They had a lot more oomph to them.
Don't discount Sik. Sik is a fluffy, wonderful sunset of rage.
Yes, but design-wise, if you were to sit Sik next to even like Sivo, what we allowed back when we had Sik and Nagi versus what we allow now is different. If those guys had all been designed at the same time, I feel like our light spirits would have been crazy awesome, amazing, like that. So we did some updates. Sik is the only one who didn't get an update.
That's true, because Sik is perfect and wonderful.
Sik has a good design, which is why she didn't get an update. Nagi had a fine design, but we just elevated it a little bit.
Him and Aga were hard to print on things.
Him and Aga were impossible to print on things. I couldn't make something where you could print both of them on it. So they got design updates. We also didn't have PSDs for them.
Yeah, that too.
Yeah, so we had all of that. And basically, when those dark spirits came in and they lined up with those good spirits, the lore event got born. And we discovered that people wanted to know more about the world. So while Pause ran this amazing event talking about our lore and setting things in motion and building personalities and everything for our deities, in the background, Dunn and I went about, okay, well, what's going on in the rest of the world? The entire world is not a tundra, mountainous land. There must be more here. And that's where the concept of a world tour came from, where we were going to build the rest of the world. And rather than try and build everything on our own, we decided we would involve the player base. We would set the stage, we would decide where we needed to build, and then we would go from there. So in part of that, everybody's seen our nice big clouded map. Mm-hmm. We're going to talk about slightly the next area that will be unlocking on the map and what will be going on in that area. This one, you think?
Yes.
Okay.
They'll see this soon enough.
They'll see it soon enough. You'll all recognize this area right here as the bottom edge between Tania and Tartok. But then you'll see there's this nice new little coastal area over here called Narnvak. I think I said it right. I said it the way I'm going to pronounce it from now on, so.
Sure thing, Tokotne.
Yeah, Tokotne.
Tokotna.
Tokotne.
Ugh.
Tokotna.
Ne. I swear to God, family. If y'all wanted to pronounce differently, then you should have made someone else be the voice. So we'll be introducing this next new region. It will be one of 8 regions coming to the game.
Oh, see, you're getting ahead of us.
Each one of them will have, we will be creating new regional deities for them. These would be a step down from our Borgas and our Milaniks. They would be that lower level. When you think of it, if for an analogy, if you're looking at like Greek mythology, Ipak is Zeus. Borga's like the god of war, Ares. And then there's all those gods like the goddess of revenge, the god of the moon, or the moon, goddess of the moon in Greek, I think. There's all of those, which aren't big tiers. They're like secondary tiers. So regional deities would fall into that. But we still want them to look exciting, to match the region we're in, so when the next region pops, there will be a regional deity design contest. And all 8 regions will have those. We ask that they be thought of, that we're here in a coastal land, so try and match it towards the region that we're in and where we are. There'll be about 3 weeks of design time to do it, and then voting will be handled by a small team on the admin team. Part of it's for speed. There's going to be a lot of these contests. There's going to be a lot of judging going on. It takes a little bit of the popularity contest part out of it.
However, just like the starter redesign contest, we do want you guys to go use, might as well use Eclipse's little heart system, because we did listen to that when we did the starter redesigns.
We did. Those were super helpful. They broke quite a few ties for us in more than one category. Because remember, there we had 20 starters we had to judge. There wasn't really time to do a big one. So for this, the goal is 1, but if I love 3, I'll take 3. I'm not, I'm not picky like that.
Okay, let's not even joke. I'm going to be sitting there like, but can't we just have them all?
Yeah, and I'll be like, no, we can't just have them all. But we will. Everybody, of course, so everybody who participates will get a stamp and they will get a prize. So whether you win or lose, you're still going to get a prize. And if you participate in the contest, you get your Narnvak stamp, which,
We have a lovely sketch from Crae.
We do. We have an awesome sketch from Crae of this stamp that's coming in our next area, with the awesome star and lighthouse going on and all the seashells. So we have that coming. So if you participate in that contest, you get the stamp. And you don't have to do anything else to get it. At that point, you have done your part of World Tour for this region, you're done. For people who are not designers or line arters, like, me, I'm not one of those people, there will be a canon locations contest. And for that, you can do a write-up based on the format we will provide of a canon location for the area. You know that we're in this little coastal area. We will have a little regional write-up for you. You can read that, and then you can build a place that would be here in this region. We will be taking multiples of those. We will be getting art made for them, and we will be putting them up on Tokopedia, at which point there will be more canon locations for everybody to use. So now, if you're doing your rights and you put them on a beach, you might actually have somewhere you can justify as a canon location.
No, everywhere is Tartok foothills, thank you.
Yeah, everywhere is the Tartok foothills. I know. So.
Hey, don't call me out like this.
I feel seen.
So that is the coastal area that is coming next. There will be canon locations. Both of those contests will allow collabing. However, if you are doing a canon location, the goal is a write-up. I will be getting art for it. So while you can do a little bit of art, the goal is the write-up. That's where you need to be spending your time. It's so that writers can have a specific thing to do to get a World Tour stamp, and all is good. If you're a designer, then you can go do the Spirit Design Contest, and you can get your stamp that way, and you're good. You have your stamp, because the goal of World Tour is to get all the stamps. How you do it is up to you. Those are the 2 timed things that come with a region. And every region will have both of those contests that run from 3 weeks from the moment it opens to the 3-week mark. Then the team will judge, things will be announced. There'll probably be some downtime between regions while we do prep for the next region, and then the next region will pop. And there's 8 of them. That's why we keep saying this is a casual long-term thing, because we're not smashing it together as fast as we can. If you're not interested in doing any of that content creation with us, you're just here for fun, we have adventures for you. And I believe a fair chunk of everybody here has seen the prologue adventure in Tanya Tartak, where you go to the, I can't pronounce the name of that city.
Coastal Tunic?
Coastal Tunic?
Cho?
Tyanek?
What? Yeah. I didn't name these things. We have a small adventure where your handler in Tokota has heard that one of the new faction leaders, who we're going to talk about in a minute, is looking for them. And they've come to this city to talk to them. To do this, Tanya Tartak is special. Narnvark and all the others will work slightly different, and I'll explain that in a moment. In Tanya Tartak, you go and do the passport photo to gain access to the adventure. When you finish your passport photo, you will get a Tanya stamp then and there. So you will already have one of your stamps for doing that. Now that you have access to the adventure, there'll be a new button on your world tour, on your right menu. We call that the profile menu. There will be a button at the bottom called World Tour Hub. And when you go in there, there will be an adventure button, and it should say Adventure Unlocked. When you click on that, you will be taken to a text browser-based game for you to basically click through and find all of the different leaders. And you can choose to complete challenges for them, or, basically do no contest. And if you impress them, they do have little prizes for you. It's really hard to fail all 6 if you try. It's really hard. And the game also includes adding statistics to your Tokota, so that you can say, well, this Tokota is really, really buff, so he should have more brawn. Whereas maybe this girl over here is more of a charmer, so she should have more charm. And make them better at certain challenges as you go throughout the game. Each adventure is a standalone to the region. There might be the feeling of an overarching story, but you are not required to do these in order. If you join us in, December, and you just play the adventure in December, cool. No big deal. You don't have to play all the adventures. Once you complete the adventure, you will be given another prompt. When you do that prompt, you do it, you turn it in. At that point, you will get your stamp for the region. For the first region, the first prompt got you Tanya, the second prompt got you Tartak. When we go to Narnvark, the first prompt gets you access to the adventure, the second prompt gets you the stamp. And that's how it goes. And all of them will be maximum 2 images. 1 on entry, 1 on exit. Okay? And we have learned from the prologue that people would like ways to retain the images for their art process, and the written parts for the sake of them trying to remember the story for their writing as well. Because that can be done in art or lit, and it can be collabed. Everyone's going to get to the same ending. The fun is how you got there, and could you solve the dungeon to get there. Mm-hmm. There is a channel in Discord called WT Tavern. That is for talking about your adventures in the tavern. Okay?
The location art is up on Toko Time, and I think we've been discussing putting another version live where you can click through it to see the story without doing the submit portion at the end.
Yeah, I've been talking about putting that up at that point. The only downfall of that is I definitely want to do it after the next region unlocks, because I don't want people to use that as a way to go through, figure out everything they need to do and the absolute best strategy, and then go do the actual adventure.
Well, no, I was thinking having that pop. Never mind. We'll discuss this later.
Yeah, we'll discuss this later. See, we're talking about it. We are. So that's how World Tour is going to go. There will be a browser-based adventure for you to go and play, or there'll be 1 of 2 contests. If you miss the contest, you can't use that to get your stamp. I'm sorry. Those have to be end dated. Adventures will stay up the whole time. The whole time. And probably once the last region is done, my gut says we'll give 1 more month to finish adventures, and we'll call it there. Okay?
Because,
Yeah. Well, that's just how it is. And so you can catch up at the end if you like, but you have to do that final prompt to get your stamps. Stamps will be what is used to turn in to get prizes. More information about prizes will be coming very early next year. Okay? So you'll know what they are about the halfway point of the event. So that is World Tour and Narnvark, that will be coming soon. And with World Tour, we will be having a faction brawl, starting with the next region.
Yes.
Dun dun dun.
I know, everyone's been dying for one for a while. We went and found all the old Faction Brawl information.
And then we're like, is this just CEs?
It
This feels like CEs.
It felt a lot like CEs. So there will be 2 parts to the Faction Brawl. One will be a collection quest that will be tied into World Tour. And you will be gaining relics in the World Tour adventures. And those relics will be turned in to gain points for your faction. Each round of the Faction Brawl will be linked to the region that we are unveiling right now. So each region will be ended up being controlled by a faction at the end, and then there will be a grand winner after all 8 rounds have gone through. So the collection quest, you'll be able to get that in the World Tour event, and then turn them in for points. Additionally, there will be bi-weekly prompts, which means every region will have 2 prompts, since they're probably going to be about 4 to 5 weeks long, that you turn that in similar to a CE. The difference is going to be that let's say there's 15 pack leaders that turn it in and 3 LKs that turn it in, there's still going to be an LK in every single round, and each round is going to be 6 people, 1 from each faction. Stop doing that.
Ow.
I'm sorry. Dunn has been like scratching on something in my ear, and I was trying to ignore it for the last 5 minutes and not failing. It is right there in my ear.
Arm of the chair
that I am sitting in near my ear. So, my apologies. Let me get back to Faction Brawls. Everyone who turns in will be judged in a round. They will be judged against someone from every other faction. If there's not enough people from the other factions to fill the rounds, we will be using the ghost mechanic from CEs to fill them up. If a ghost wins a round, it doesn't help that faction, but it also doesn't help the faction of the person who didn't win the round. That stops it from being just because there are 3 times as many pack leaders, they're guaranteed to win more rounds than anybody else. So those wins will gain points to your faction for that region, and you will also be gaining relics in those contests, because how many relics you gain is going to be part of the deciding factor. They'll be very similar to activity CEs.
Did you want a relic picture?
Well, I could just... No, we don't have time for it right now.
Okay.
Because I'm watching our clock, and I do want to talk to Lach and give time for QA.
Okay.
So, that is the prompts. There'll be 2 of those. Points will be sorted out based on who participated, not based on how many are actually in the faction. Alright? So if only 2 LKs are in there, their final points will count for more than the 53 PLs. Just to try and equalize it as much as we can. So that'll be that. And let me see, anything else I need to talk about for them?
There's faction rank, but maybe we will handle that when the guides come out, which should be soon.
Yes, there will be faction ranks. They will be specific to the faction brawl. They have no other point in the game besides helping you in the faction brawl.
Yet.
They will have no other point in the game. Don't listen to them.
I will convince you to keep them after we do all this work on them.
But, okay, so guides will be coming for that soon. The faction brawl will be starting with Narnvark. Narnvark is just waiting on some art. As soon as I have my art, I will finish the adventure and we will be good to go. As soon as we can, guys. Which brings us to the new faction leaders. Oh, hold on. Actually,
You missed a spoiler.
I did miss a spoiler.
I'm a little surprised you didn't talk about it during the canon locations.
I should have talked about during canon locations. It was there for that. Okay, before we talk about the new faction leaders in the process there.
Aww.
Wait, what? It's 2 seconds, promise.
Aww.
Some of y'all might have noticed that one of our new faction Tokos is standing on a background you've never seen before.
You have to turn off the map.
Oh, dang it. There we go. We have new backgrounds coming. Every single region will have a new background. Some of them will be 6-stone backgrounds, meaning they have the 4 levels of HU. Some of them will be Borgastone backgrounds, meaning they're 1 image no matter which level of HU you're at. And some, like the background you are staring at right now, will be new free-to-use backgrounds, like the Snowy Fields or the Brown Mountain Range. So this will be our new coastal. You are looking at the submissive level of a new coastal free-to-use background that will be put in the imports as soon as Narnvark goes, and this is unlocked.
We should probably plug who did this, because she fucking nailed it.
Oh, she did. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So our breeding manager, Daffodilly, did this. She has knocked it out of the park. You can see the Dom version on one of our...
Is it on Rosie?
I think it's on Rosie. I think Rosie's standing on our Dom version of this. And this is the first... We're testing out to see how it goes. This is our first background that breaks the tradition of misty, sad, daytime, sunset, nighttime feeling that we've always had as we go. The Dom version, or not, excuse me, not Dom, the alpha version of this background will be sunrise. So we are breaking the traditional rotation so that some alpha tokos could have other things besides dark blue and purple sunrises. Actually, not sunrises, full moons, auroras. We're just trying out some new things so that you can have more feelings to your background than we currently have. Okay? But this is coming from Daff, and it is absolutely amazing. Okay, there we go. Woo! Turn that off. Okay, now, faction leaders, and then Q&A, because I feel like when we finish this faction leader part, it's really going to go right into a Q&A about this stuff. So you will know that we have 5 new faction leaders, question mark, because Mitchell was kind of there, but he might have gotten a little bit of a revamp for us. Not a couple weeks ago, I guess about a month ago or more, I can't remember. The last couple months of setting up for World Tour has been a bit of a blur. We decided that we wanted this faction brawl, and we wanted new leaders to represent all of them. And we'd had Thunderfeather and Mitchell before, and they were kind of unofficial leaders of prestige breeders and pack leaders. Yeah, no, I did say that right.
Oh my goodness.
They were kind of like the unofficial leaders. So we decided it was time to take them and to put it officially. But by the time we went to do that, we realized that Mitchell really wasn't a prestige breeder. He was knowledge seeker through and through. And we also made the decision that it was time to retire Thunderfeather and to put her daughter in charge, because she, while she had been built for pack leaders, she fit the theme of lore keepers a little bit better. So her daughter is in charge of lore keepers instead. And we had a big conversation about the rest of the leaders and who we were going to make and what they were going to be. And one of the big themes of that was trying to have respectful representation for the player base that we're playing with. Lach, do you want to talk a little more about the process for that?
Yeah. Basically, I think that the conversation that we had surrounding these faction leaders and like what we wanted to see out of them was probably my favorite discussion that we've ever had on the admin team, I like to say, just because it was so... I mean, it started out pretty small, and then people would log on and see the conversation that was happening and say, yes, like, I love this inclusion. I love seeing, like, this representation. Here's more. And so it just kept building and building and adding. And so we really diversified our team to being, you know, majority non-white, non-male, like, I want to call them staff members, but faction leaders. Yeah, varying in, you know, sizes, height, weight, backgrounds. We even kind of got a little bit into shipping them a little bit behind the scenes.
She's not kidding. This conversation started, and then there were so many admins being like, what if they're a couple? And I'm like, all right, they can be a couple. Keep moving. Keep going. We got other things to do today. Let's do this.
Yeah. And I don't know, it was super fun, and it was just super great to be able to take in everybody's ideas and, like, and considerations, and to be able to draw them in about a month.
Yeah,
and I'm super excited about them.
Lach is the one who drew all the faction leaders. We had some real interesting moments in that conversation. I remember having to look at a group of people and tell them, one of these men has to be straight. I don't care which one you pick, but one of them has to be straight. We still have our white... Well, no, he's not white. We have a straight man and we have a white man. They're just not the same man.
Yeah.
So, a lot of what people don't see is in the back end, our website does tell us, because it has to track like threats and such, it tells us where people are connecting from, what country. It doesn't give us any more data than, we have a surprisingly large amount of German and Finnish and Swedish players. A surprisingly large amount of them. And we know that because we can see who connects from where. We know that we don't have a very big presence in Asia in any way, shape, or form. We have a surprisingly large presence in Australia. We don't have a very big South African or even North African, technically. And we have more than I thought we were going to be in the Southern Americas. Like 5, which is still more than I thought that we were going to be. So we can see where everyone comes from. And while we are 90% coming from the US and Canada to hit, we do see that people are coming from other walks of life. And we did not want this to be the parade of 6 white guys in charge. We didn't. And most of our player base is female. It is. Why say it any other way? So when we're looking at these leaders, we should be able to see ourselves in them more. Not all of our player base is female, but the vast majority is. So we made the choice that most of our leaders were going to be females. And most of our player base is not cis straight. They're just not. So we made it a little more eclectic in that way as well. We wanted that. But we really didn't want tokenism either. We don't want the token Asian guy. We want him to feel like he fits. He's part of the world. He's correct in everything that's going on. He's not just there so that we can have an Asian guy. So we're working on that. And then we gave Lach basically a write-up of, hey, this person is going to be French in feeling. She's also going to be black, and she's going to be elderly. Go for it. And then Lach came in and was like, okay, I love it, but we need to avoid these racist stereotypes and these tropes. And I was like, oh my gosh, please, avoid that in every way. I don't want that at all. So, you can see that they're up there. You can see what we've done with them. Like for Fedora, we don't want her to feel like the mammy trope. That's bad. That's not how we want to represent her at all. She should be much better than that. Oh, jeez. What?
You said our name. It's killed Crae.
There's some criticism on pronunciation.
Oh, whatever. I can't pronounce anything right. Y'all know.
It's like Theo, but with an F.
Whatever.
It's not a criticism. You can't call her Fedora.
This is why Jill wrote it into her description that she goes by Remy, because she can't figure out how to say it.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. That's why her description says Remy.
Yeah.
So that I don't have to pronounce it. Okay? All of these guys are up there. They all have unique and special things about them. And if you take some time and you read through their bios, you'll probably learn things about them that you didn't catch on your first run through. You're more than welcome to ask us about those things too. All the admins have been told, hey, if someone comes and asks you, am I reading this right? The answer is yeah. Tell them. Like, it's not a secret. It's just not, we're trying to make it so that the things that make them cool aren't the only things that make them cool. They're cool as a whole, not just for one aspect of who they are. So please read through them and, let us know what you think. We're trying very hard to make this a fun representation of our player base and what we look like and what we are like. And we want to know if we did a good job. We had a lot of different sets of eyes on these, making sure that we're not putting in anything that's charged, that we're not using words that particular culture would find offensive, things like that. we had to go through and change a couple descriptions after a few of our Native American players took a look at things and went, yeah, actually you can't use that color to describe, it's really offensive, and they had to tell us why. And we needed to know why so we could change it, but, you know, we've been trying very hard to avoid all of those things, and so that they are fun, and when you look at it, you can find someone of yourself in there somewhere, and enjoy from there. So, if you like them, you know, let us know. If there's something really, really wrong, let us know. But I feel like we did an okay job on this.
Yeah. I do just want to address a question that was asked earlier. Simi asked if the goal in designing the World Tour NPCs was to make them as attractive as heck. The answer is subjectively yes. There was a ongoing joke that all of these people are people that I would personally date. So, yes, thank you for this opportunity.
Yes, they were all CW attractive at least.
Now stay with me. We,
Lach standards.
for Tokotas, make a dating sim game.
Oh, done. I have
That's
so
my
much
next
work
goal.
to do.
Yes, Lach's on board. You have to do it now.
You two write up everything for Twine, and then I'll just put the Twine together.
Okay.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. You do the work, I'll finish it for you.
Sure.
Done. You should know better by now.
Yeah, I'm also pretty sure it will not be sitting on my desk in January for me to get done.
But it will be there before February.
Yeah, but I'm going to need it in January to get it done for February.
But then I'll just make really sad eyes at you and get you coffee.
Dude, I will have almost a 1-year-old at that point in time. I feel like you're going to be competing with him for that attention.
But you see, I just need to train him to also do the sad eyes on command. It'll be great.
Or train him to make the Tokotas things.
That too, that's quite possible. He's already been very interested in laptops.
He has, and he outsmarted his dad. Oh, so bad. We're trying to get him to, like, learn how to roll. So, put him on the blanket. Alan put his toy out of reach on the other side of the blanket so that you would have to roll to get it. You know what this kid does? Grabs the blanket, pulls the toy to him. And I was like, well, you've been outsmarted by baby. Congratulations. Okay, so that is everything for the last hour and a half that I had to talk about in my non-stop talking for an hour and a half manner that I do. I believe it is Q&A time. If you've got questions about anything we talked about, please bring them up. If you have questions about other things in general, but Tokotas related, go ahead and bring them up. Dunn is watching the channels now.
I'm watching both Twitch and podcast questions in Discord. Either place is good.
Exactly. I would be absolutely shocked if there was literally no questions.
That's never how that goes.
That's never how that goes. They just have to take a moment to think about it. And then there's always that person who shows up 2 hours later, but I thought of a question. I'm like, you missed that train. Oh, that's a paragraph.
Hold on. Any chance that the rule not allowing rights in a single image could be looked at?
No. I'm sorry, no. When we're judging images and when we're doing all of that, one of the first things we have to do is judge, did you link it? Are all the links there? And the same way that activities, it's really, really hard to tell how many you rolled. If you've got a comic of 5, then they have to go through and basically you get to roll 5 at a time. So that's a no. That's why we straight up won't do it in activities, because it allows you to get a lot more in past our rules. For rights, one of the first things they're doing is counting, did you have this link, do you have this link, do you have this link? Well, if they've now got a variable to check against, if someone's got one link, now they have to go in, check, is there a clear divider between all of these? Are all 3 of these rights here? And then some of them are going to have 3, some of them are going to have 1. It just adds another layer of complexity for us. And honestly, you can still make a comic, it's just in 3 separate images. And then if you want to put it up together later, put it up together later. But the answer is no, we're going to keep to this standard because that's the standard we use in everything.
And I can speak to from other games and having to roll things like comic panels, it gets overwhelming when you open up an image and you're like, oh, I need to check all of these to find the one panel that fits the right requirements for this, and then make sure there's 3 of them that have enough backgrounds and background objects, tokos, where are the bonuses being shown in?
Was anything reused in this comic? Because that's very common in comics that come through. We've done that in other games. And while you might do it right, for every you that does it right, there's 2 other players who aren't going to label it right, and then it makes it complicated, and off to corrections we go, and that's just how it is. Oh, go ahead.
Additionally, there's the issue of like identifying exactly which panel needs a correction and which are fine, and getting sent to corrections multiple times.
Which panel is which prompt? It's just
it just gets more complicated for us, and when we make rule changes where we suddenly require another link or we add a new line to a forum, every single time it's to try and make it efficient so the admin can get through these as fast as they can without having to go search for information. Because, to you, you're like, oh, I have to spend another minute grabbing this link. That's really annoying. But for the admin, when they sit down to do it, they're probably going to sit down and do 50 at a time. Well, that's 50 links they have to go dig for. That's why we asked you to take the minute and do it, so that they didn't have to take the 3 hours to do it. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay.
Looks like we're good.
Cool. Other questions?
Oh no, that's just disc. I mean, not that that's just disc. Sorry, disc.
Wow, the shade. I'm kidding, that wasn't shade.
I know, I'm so sorry, disc.
Oh, what shame.
Rude.
If they're not got questions, I'll find something else to talk about.
Hold on, someone's typing in Discord.
Mm-hmm.
Give it a minute. Mm-hmm. No coffee? What? But disc. My blood is
Sorry,
coffee.
I got a dog bark.
I'm shocked we've made it through this without Caesar so far.
I know, he normally has like a third sense, Jesus. 6th sense for when we're recording.
Right? And he'll start at the door with his meow, meow.
Like our lore thing.
Oh yeah, if you listen to me and Dunn's lore, somewhere in chapter 3, there's suddenly just this cat yelling in the background of like 3 different videos.
Because he wouldn't leave us alone, so he just became part of the story at that point.
Yeah, he was, I want to say it was like 3 or 4 in the morning when we were doing that, and Caesar was like, people are awake, that's when I get fed, so you're awake, feed me.
Yeah.
And I was like, no.
Here we go. Will the new starters be added to the list of breedable starters so we can nab the start slots? So, I do believe all the color ones will be added, but I know there were some questions about the shapeshifter starter, and the answer is not anytime soon. We're letting the lore pups have their shiny for a bit. Yeah,
the lore pups are going to have their shiny. It will get added eventually. It's just not going to get added right away. And for the ones that are green and pink and don't have genos, once the genos are on them, they will get added. There will be a delay on all of the World Tour stuff. We already had this come up. A bunch of people trying to get creeping points on their lore pup. And the answer to that was no.
We will be having them come out in wilds, having them come out in genos and stuff that are prizes from what we're doing through the event. So they will be out there soon.
Exactly. They're just not out there right away. I've been planning a raffle to get creeping points out on a couple genos. I just also got distracted doing other World Tour stuff, so it's on my to-do list. Probably Monday, I think there'll be a raffle for those, a couple of them. So that stuff will go out. The Tokos will get added to the starter slots. It's just not going to be quickly, so that we can control them a little bit better for going out as prizes and letting them keep a bit of the shiny. But they will. Because, I mean, heck, I want that new UT as much as anybody else.
Yeah, you do.
Well, yeah, I'm now up to 2 I don't own.
Ha ha ha. Get my pack-made AOAs.
Why can't you get your pack-made AOAs?
Because you're the one who finds the things.
Ugh.
I'll draw AOAs if you'll color them, but you know how that goes.
Yeah, I know. It's going to take you 6 months to draw them.
Okay, we've got a question in Discord which we'll jump to in a moment. But let's grab Mizzy's last question. When will we be getting that half and half blue and orange alpha background? I have asked for this. I don't know how many times. I don't know who made this.
Yeah, we actually don't know who made it. We use it for this because it's harmless, but we actually don't know who made this. And if we don't know who made it, we can't ask them if we can use it.
It's somebody probably on the team still.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, Crae made it.
I see.
Hi, Crae. I love you.
Whoop.
Okay, so apparently Crae made it.
So, I mean, I have no issue throwing that up, but I'm not HU.
Yeah, we have to run that by
Yeah.
HU so they don't get confused on that. And we also, no, it's just HU. Nothing ever goes up alpha unless it's a starter.
Yeah, that's true.
So maybe. The answer is maybe.
We'll get the file off Crae and then go cry at Ocean's door and be like, Ocean, let us do more things to HU.
Okay, Ocean allows us to do a lot in HU. Like,
I
the
know.
things that I've shown up and been like, Ocean, what about this? And he's just like, okay. I'm like, oh man, I need to not abuse this power.
This is fairly minor.
Yeah, this is fairly minor.
Alright, so from Discord we have, not exactly a question, but kind of a floating suggestion. I love the new faction leaders and how inclusive they are, but might we get a non-binary NPC someday? I don't know what plans there are to add more NPCs off the bat right now, because these guys were a bit of a month-long ordeal to get hammered out.
Yeah, these were a rush job from Lach to get the art done for them. Obviously, if we want to put NPCs up, we want them to be of the same caliber of coloring and lines and all of that. We want it to be very good.
And we have Lach on a lot of World Tour stuff.
Also, there's... I mean this in absolutely no disrespectful way. I have a hard time wrapping my brain around it. I'm trying. I know I need to get my brain to understand how we represent that.
To do it good?
To do it well.
Yeah.
If we're going to do it, we need to do it really well. And I'm not sure how to do it with a static image that isn't going to lend itself to being too feminine, too masculine, to actually encompass what non-binary is. Because we
Can I
Go ahead.
Can I jump in real quick?
Yeah.
I do want to say it could start with an existing NPC, because like real people, they can change over time.
That's true.
That is true.
So stuff we need to think about. It's not a no. And as I said, I'm not trying to be disrespectful. I got to get my head around how to do it for us to do it. It's never a no.
It's kind of... So one of the things we had with writing the faction leaders is we're not this. So we need somebody who is to tell us, did we properly represent this? How do we do this correctly? So it's just a lot of research, and we don't want to just, like we were kind of talking about tokenism. Like, my sister is non-binary, but I can't really go to her and be like, help me write this thing. She doesn't know shit about tokos.
Yeah. It didn't work when we were asking her about other things.
Yeah. She helped us with some other stuff, but that one not so much.
I mean, my sister thought she was trans for how long before she settled down to, no, I'm just a lesbian. And so things like that, and like, how do you get someone's journey and put it in an image? It's very easy when we have slightly more concrete things in place. We have a transgender leader because we could depict that correctly.
We have enough people on the team to help us be like this.
Exactly. So again, not a no. I understand now there's a wish for it. I don't know when we'll do our next NPCs, but I will definitely make sure that the note is there, that next time we go to do NPCs for the game, that there's a wish for this, and we'll see what we can do about getting it done.
For sure.
And if you guys have other suggestions, always drop in the suggestion box. I know it doesn't look like we check, but we do.
Me and Dunn do. Me
Constantly.
and Dunn, I think the longest we've ever gone without checking it is 2 months.
Yeah, but that was during a bunch of other stuff.
Yeah, we were legitly busy for those 2 months. But Jen and I, we'll spend our Friday night going through a suggestion box, and then
trying to figure out what we can do because we feel like doing a thing tonight.
Exactly. And then we'll go in there and we'll start reading it, and Jen will read me something and go, we can't do that, move on. No, we can't do that. No, we can't do that. And then I want to respond to everything and then go, I just have to tell 10 people in a row no, they can't have it. And just because I have a reason doesn't mean that they're going to be happy about it. So now I don't want to respond to it. But Dunn and I have read every suggestion that comes through. I think we're 2 weeks out from our next run through that box.
And I mean, there's plenty of stuff that shows up there that takes 6 months plus to get into existence, I believe. All right, here, some more World Tour spoilers coming from me, of all people.
Dun dun dun.
Lots of people were asking for updates to things like Dangerous Game and getting small Dangerous Game Crae, and we've got some coming for you.
Oh, yeah.
It's taken a bit because we have to get art assets, we have to balance everything, get pricing, get tack, get companions.
And in the back end portion of that, there was a migration of the activity roller. So we had to migrate it into a new area. We had to ensure that the PHP that was running it was on the same level. We had to fix some problems from the migration, get the database moved over, do updates that had been sitting in the backlog for how long? Some poor soul waited I don't know how long on their UT because we just couldn't get the roller updated until we got it migrated, and it was a whole mess.
Or like Tribe Companions, our poor activity rollers have been like hand rolling those.
For how long?
Well, not really hand rolling. They were rolling existing ones in the system and then replacing them with the correct thumb.
Later. So we had to get a bunch of those in. We had to do like totemic updates, things of that nature. There was a whole bunch of stuff that had to get done first. We've finally caught up on all of that. And activities caught up in general. They got more people in, they got their training. Because
activity codes have helped.
Activity codes have significantly helped everybody. It helped them, understand how this is supposed to be filled out and get it going really well. So all of those things had to happen for us to get to those suggestions. But we have some small, dangerous game coming. We have some new Crae in general on its way.
Lach has given us a reminder to do the Leafy database fix for Islua.
Oh, yeah. See? Catching up on all of that stuff. Thank you for that reminder. That falls on Jill to get that done. So, yeah. Dunn kind of knows how to do those ones, but...
I don't like tinkering in the database if I don't have to.
Yeah, I'm really the only one who goes into the database, and I do that on few and far occasions. So, yeah. We finally caught up on the backlog of activity things. So now new activity things are coming. My favorite times when we go into the suggestion box is we go and read down a page and I go, I've got that sitting, waiting to go out with the opening news. Well, that's ready to go with the opening news. So I'm going to be doing that next month already. Like, so many things that you guys ask for, we have in plan already. We just don't tell you about them in plan. I try and respond to some of them and tell people. Be like, I hear you. You're ahead of the game, man. It's on its way. Anything else?
Oh, your favorite question, because I think I get hit about this routinely every week. Do you think the search function for extended restricted markings will be fixed sometime this year?
I wish. I want to. I do. And somebody tossed me...
Seer.
Yeah, Seer tossed me what it needs to look like to make it work correctly. That page is built off of a little dynamic engine, so I need to go in and write the exceptions into the dynamic engine to make it work. If all of our extension and restriction worked the same, then...
Awesome.
It would be easy, but they don't.
Go fan go.
Yeah. And then that poor page has just fallen further and further down my to-do list.
You've spent most of the past couple of weeks trying to get optimizations to speed us up again.
I know, I'm trying. I know there's a couple pages that are hitting the database too much, and we use those pages a lot, so it's killing our database. So I need to work on these optimizations. And then the My Tokotas page took a bunch of pressure off to get that page done because everybody really wanted it for their My Tokotas. So they just go to that page instead. But I hear you. I'm working on it. It's just fallen down my to-do list.
Yep. Just one coder. As much as we try to rope more in.
I know. None of them ever stay.
Let's see. Will anything ever come of the now removed don't touch this button?
Someday. So then don't touch this button. Part of what I'm working on right now when we're talking about those optimizations is we're doing this big behind the scenes revamp of the website. We're trying to do it in a way that's not disruptive, but I have to do all of these updates. And once we do, then breeding perms will move to Tokotas. So you will never lose a breeding perm again.
So to explain, the website is on... We're on a stupid high hosting for what we are.
Mm-hmm.
But we just... Lots of moving parts, lots of hits, and we're just trying to optimize that framework.
Exactly. I can't move my breeding perm engine live because it kills the website. until I get all the other stuff. And the import page is a big drain on us because it has so much on there. And I have no regrets about that. I'm just trying to find ways to make it more optimal for us.
I mean, we can do something to imports where we move it to more of a tabbed system where you have to click on a toko and then click on to load a whole nother page, but I don't think that ultimately take any strain off.
No, probably not. The big hits are the Tokotas table. Obviously, there's 50,000 records in there, and No Daddy is No Daddy. It doesn't expect you to have people on your website, apparently. And you guys don't see it, but I see how many unique visitors we get every day. And every day, the average is like 300 to 400 unique visitors. All of which are looking at the Tokotas table. All of which are adding tack. All of which are pulling forms. And all of those things have big hits on the database, and I'm working on optimizing all of those.
And this kind of answers Furion's question of a My Tokotas injured status search, please. And I do believe because of how injuries are now logged in the items table, I do believe, it's a massive hit to do that.
It's a big hit to do that. So for the foreseeable future, the answer is no, but I'll see what I can do. Yeah. Any other questions? We're in our last 10 minutes here. Dan's got a face.
What? I don't have a face.
She does have a face.
You know it's coming.
Probably. Oh my god, no.
I said I'd do the heavy lifting for it.
Nah. She says she'll do the heavy lifting till she sits in front of 300 pages. Yeah. Dan's trying to convince me all to do dark mode for you guys.
Here we go. Here's from Mizzy.
Dark mode.
We had one. X10 ate it.
X10 ate it.
Aww.
I know, is there no better host that would help run the site smoother? We've actually tried a bunch of different hosts. We have. I think if anybody around here remembers .net, we tried over there for a bit, but they couldn't keep up with our traffic level.
No.
And every other one we've gone to, it's been an issue with how their database permissions are set up or what PHP they use, etc.
At this point, what we would have to do is move on to our own standalone server. But I am not trained in how to be a server admin. It's not my skill set. I'm a coder, not a server person. We rely on GoDaddy's backbone to handle all of that server configuration and control panel setup and maintenance and database work and upgrades. We rely on them to do that because I don't know how to do that.
Huh. Did Lua just throw her SO under the bus? I think...
I'm sorry, is it Michael a server admin?
Maybe. Uh-oh.
So, we would need somebody with those skills because it's not me. And we've looked a few times, at least I have, at hiring a freelancer to help us set up something. Because if they set it up and then write me a list of instructions that say, go and click this button once a month, do this, yeah, I can. But if something goes wrong, I don't know what to do. Mm-hmm. So we will be still looking into that the way I'm always looking into that.
Apparently we need to hit up his Lua.
So, yeah, that's the thing. All of the shared hosting, which is what we're on, is all the same level of terrible. GoDaddy's at least cheap and as bad as everywhere else. And me and their customer service, they don't like it when I call.
They do not. And no, that's not Caesar. That's the Tav.
Yeah, sorry. The Tav is not having a good day.
It's about time for his nap. That's probably what's up.
It is. I probably need to go put him down for a nap soon.
Is there any way to code in on a Tokos page that tells you whether it has a special base or a swatch base?
No.
That would require we actually store that information somewhere, because we could track the lineage back theoretically to a special base code founder, but there's no guarantee that actually got pulled through on somebody's design in that transit, I guess, for lack of a better word.
Yeah.
So it would be another thing on DSC, another thing on the another thing on the importer, and another thing on that Tokos database table we were just talking about.
And how we're trying to optimize that right now so we can start making updates again. I hear you, but again, we have no way of guaranteeing they move something through because we have artists design Tokotas. We don't have them generated like a Flight Rising.
Does the Dakota import get tagged with an injured status in the title? Yes, it does.
Yes, it does.
Actually broken it. We've done a line break, so it's on the line beneath all the average, female, blah.
Exactly, because it might be 5 long.
Did you ever heal a Rumi?
I went and fixed a Rumi, but for a little bit, a Rumi had all five, so we could see what it looked like.
Furion, I recall a POTA checklist thing was in the works for import pages, so how's that coming along?
Same problem, Furion. Can't hit the database that many times while I'm trying to optimize it.
Yeah.
Working on these projects is what made me have to stop and go deal with these optimizations finally.
Yeah, there's so many projects that are sitting on the Trello that you have seen, and I know you go look at it, that are just held up on finding quicker ways to do things on the site.
Yeah.
You guys all saw the tack and trait display errors we had all week. That was Jill trying to remove some hits from that page.
Yeah. I removed about 10 database calls from that page, and it's still not fast.
Yeah. But it helps.
It does help. I'm going to try and remove a bunch more soon.
Maybe that's what we'll do. We'll get some ice cream. We have ice cream.
We have ice cream.
And we'll sit and we'll go page by page and see what we can do.
Yep. Possibly.
Oh,
All right.
That's interesting.
That's interesting.
They're discussing the special base coat line.
Mm-hmm. You mean at the bottom in like the credits or something?
Well, moving it from the DC form up into the import template, which is quite doable, but we would still have to save it.
Yes, we would.
So
all of those lines are saved in the database.
So it'd just be another column.
Mm-hmm. And then who goes back through and updates it? How do we make those decisions sort of stuff?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. We can go brainstorm that more when we're not on podcast, guys.
Exactly.
That doesn't mean you have to stop talking, though. Love you guys.
No, it does not mean that at all.
Let's see. Hey, speaking of specialty base coats, will there be a potential of more showing up on the page one day, whether new or from off-base existing Tokos? Not anytime soon with all the awesome stuff coming out right now, but I always love color variety being shared.
Yes.
Nailed it.
Not anytime soon.
I think that's a Crae question. Crae's on here. Crae, just talk. I love you, Crae.
I'm sorry. Can you repeat that?
Damn it. Speaking of specialty base coats, will there be a potential of more showing up on the page one day, whether new or from off-base existing Tokos? Not anytime soon, but with all the awesome stuff coming out. Wow. Bleh.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, so I was actually distracted by talking about that right now. So I am trying to kind of create a list of all of the special base coats that are out there. So, like, ones that aren't officially on our special base coat guide right now, but are not normal swatches either, and are... So it's kind of just like going through, deciding if we want to say this is a special base coat and we'll accept it and create swatches for it, or if we want to say this one doesn't really make sense to us, it may have been just like a mistake, or we don't want to make this an official special base coat swatch and just have that be like an illegal base.
Mm-hmm.
I've had a lot of other projects right now, so I haven't had a lot of time to focus on that, but that is definitely on my radar.
Yeah, we kind of
took all our time.
We were like, hi, Crae, please make us, I don't know how many stupid levels of guides. Also do art assets for us. Also.
Also. Yeah.
But yeah, that is definitely something that we will be doing.
Mm-hmm. All right, final call.
Let me go back to Discord to look. Nope. Is there a potential for a red-black special base? Keep your eye out next month, I guess?
Yeah, keep your eyes out next month.
Wow, red-black, what a good idea.
I know, right? Who ever do that? That seems absurd.
I mean, we don't have anything up right now that's like black roses.
I know.
Crazy people.
I feel like they're all going to go squint really hard at those.
I feel like they're all going to go squint really hard at those now. All right. So that was last call. Thank you for joining us today for our podcast where we're going to talk. We talked about World Tour. We talked about our goals for the faction leaders, TCA, Taming, schedules, Outposts, and lots of DC. We are really, really going to try and do one of these again next month. But hopefully, between now and then, we don't have COVID land or something else like that hit us that kind of delayed everybody.
We stop it. There's been something new every month this year.
I know. 2020 bingo is intense. I think we have zombie pigs now.
Zombie pigs.
Yeah, zombie pigs.
Disc, was this one set to be recorded? Have you been recording this whole time?
I recorded it.
Oh, good job.
Yep.
We'll hand it off to Spam to put on the YouTubes.
Exactly. All right. Thanks, everybody. We will hopefully see you next month when we get to talk about the fallout of Narnvark and the next region.
What's the next region's name, Jill? Say it.
Dude, I need to go look. We both know I can't. Love y'all. Bye.